guys are good. I always print out extra copies, but like the one day I forget to print out extra copies, like half the class needs them, and it makes me very sad, except for my iPad kids. But anyways, it looks like we all have our notes. Now we started talking about this new section, and this whole section is about graphing, right? So we decided that we were going to talk about graphing, but only for qualitative data. Remember, qualitative data is that data that can be expressed using words, right? So no numbers or anything, just words. Okay. So a couple graphs that we can use to represent qualitative data. We talked about bar graphs, right? Bar graphs are pretty easy. I think we all know how to make a bar graph. So we went ahead and did that. Then we started talking about pie charts, which are a little bit harder to create because you have to consider the angles. And angles are weird because they don't go from 0 to 100. They actually go from 0 to 360, right? So 360 degrees in a circle. Okay. Now we talked about how to calculate the angle in the pie chart that we would use to figure out like, okay, like how would I actually come up with the pie chart? Is there anyone who wants to explain how we get the proportion and also the angle? Who remembers how to get the proportion of the observations? Trying to remember names. I'm gonna cheat. Emily. Oh. Yeah, it's basically like parts over whole, right? So the total of the observations divided by the total, right? All right. And once you get that proportion, is there anyone who wants to explain how you get the angle in the pie chart? I'm getting names. I'm gonna cheat. Anna. Yeah, perfect, right? So if I were to do Visa, for example, I would do, for the proportion, I would do 23 over 50, right? Which turns out to be 0.46. And then I would multiply that by 360 to get 165.6. And that's going to be the angle in my pie chart, okay? Now, how about this? I'm going to give you like 2 minutes. Why don't you do the last 2 rows, and then we'll come back. Like 2 seconds to do that, but it seems like a lot of you already have it done. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, right? American Express, 9 out of 50, right? Or 0.18. Okay. What did we get for the angle for American Express? Haley? 64.8 degrees. Perfect. And then the last one, we would do 7 out of 50 to get 0.14. And can someone tell me the angle for Discover? Oh gosh, Maggie? 50.4. Perfect. And that's how we get our angles. Okay. Any questions on how I filled out this chart here? All right, pretty self-explanatory, right? As long as we remember like what to multiply and how we get the proportion, we're pretty good. Okay. I think the hardest part in this class is actually coming up with the pie chart itself. And this is where things get a little tricky. Okay. And before we do that, I'm going to explain to you something that we use to create a pie chart. Everyone heard of a protractor? All right. I actually read this joke, which is like not really that funny, but it said, oh yeah, okay. So someone said, okay, Amelia, ask me if I support farming. Do you support farming? Yes, I'm protractor. Oh man. Welcome. All right, we're going to talk about how to create a pie chart with this. Oh, thanks. With this information, and just for Zoom's sake, I'm going to try to get this going here. And we are going to stop this screen share, and we're going to turn on the doc cam, and we're going to. We're not going to share the screen. We're just going to keep it like this, and hopefully we can see what we're doing here. Okay. Oops. Oh goodness. I'm bouncing like straight screens right now. Okay, so whenever we do this, hopefully people in Zoom can. Yeah. Okay. I think we're doing things good. Oh, I also have to do this. I forgot. Give me a second.
Here we go. Okay. Oh, no, now I can hear myself. No! Stop. Stop. Okay. Oh my God. Oh my goodness, how do we get no, stop it. That's very annoying. Okay, we're gonna move away from okay, I'm just gonna deal with it. I'm gonna hear myself twice and it's gonna be fine. We're just gonna deal with this for like 2 seconds. Okay, so when we deal with this, we have a circle, right? That's kind of how we start with a pie chart. Normally what I like to do is I like to draw like a circle in the middle of my circle, like a little dot. And then we have to come up with like our first angle. And in order to come up with that first angle, we have to draw our first line, right? Normally, I like to draw my first line like from here to here. It's so annoying hearing my voice. Like, I do not like this. Okay, and what that does is it gives us like a base support for like the first line that we draw. Okay. Now, looking up here, our first angle in the pie chart is 79.2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my protractor, okay, and I'm going to line up my center dot with the center dot in the circle, okay? So we kind of have our protractor lined up here, okay? And there's these little convenient lines here, like coming out of the center dot that you can line up with the original dot, or with the original line that you drew. Okay. Okay, from here, we need to draw an angle of 79.2. And what we're going to do is we're going to focus on, oh my goodness, we're going to focus on the lines in the middle. So how it goes 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, instead of the numbers on the outside. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to find 79.2 like on the inner circle here. Okay, so 79.2. I have 70, I have 80. I'm just going to count 70, 71, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm going to draw a little dot. Oh gosh. Right between 70 and 80, around 79. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, and I really didn't do that perfect. That was kind of bad. I'm going to redo that because that looks really bad. Okay, we're going to draw it here. Okay. Everyone good so far? Okay. Once we do that, you can use the solid part of your, oh my God, solid part, the straight part of your protractor. And you can continue that line down. Okay. And what you just did is you drew a line at 79 degrees from that first line. Okay. So this is 79 degrees and it represents my MasterCard. So this slice is MasterCard. Okay. Now, normally what people do is they don't label like the degree on a pie chart. We usually label the what am I trying to say? We're trying to label the proportion or percent. So usually what goes down here, if there is a label at all, is usually the proportion, like 0.22, or the percentage, which is just taken by multiplying 0.22 by 100. Any questions on what I did here? Okay. Well, now we have to do our next category. And instead of drawing a new line, we can kind of just turn our paper to the side. So we can start with our line at that first angle that we started with, but it's at a different orientation. Okay. So we're going to line up our protractor again with the new line that we just drew. Okay. And now we're trying to draw an angle of 165.6, right? Okay. So remember, we're starting on the inner circle. So we're going to go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, all the way to 165.6. So let me just try to figure out where that would be. Oh, goodness. Okay. 165.6 seems to be around between 160 and 170 and probably around here, right? Oh gosh, that's not very good. Okay, does everyone see what I did there? Okay. Once you drew your dot, you can connect the dots again. Okay, so we've got 165.6 here. Okay. And now we have our new category. So I'm gonna flip over my page again. This is what the rest of your directions. Okay. So we just drew a new category. Okay. This represents Visa. So I'm just gonna write V. Okay. And in my description, I'm not gonna write the echo is like this in my head. We're not gonna write the angle, we're gonna write the percentage. So we're gonna write either 0.46 or 46%. Okay. Any questions here? All right, continuing on, we can do AE, right? So we're gonna orient our paper again so that the newest line we just drew is at that like angle to the right. We're going to put our protractor again, right? And we're going to find 64.8 degrees, right? So that looks like it's between 60 and 70 on the inside, somewhere around here. Okay. We're going to draw our straight line again. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, and we get another line. And what we've done is if you reorient your page back to normal, we have another slot that represents American Express. Okay. I hear AE and all I can think of is American Eagle. Don't know why. All right. Oh my God, I just realized what I'm doing wrong here. Oh my goodness, wait, no. No, I'm doing that. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, under American Eagle, we're gonna write 0.18 or 18%, right? And then for the last one, do I actually need to use the protractor? No, right? Because it's the last slot. So whatever's left has to be the last category, right? So discover or D is 14% or 0.14. Okay. Now for these guys, it's the last slot is probably not going to be exact. Like if you go back with your protractor and try to measure it, it's probably not going to be like exactly 50.4, mainly because you probably made like small deviations in each of your other categories. So I wouldn't worry about it too much if that happens, but it should be approximately, it should look approximately right when you make it. Okay. Any questions on making our pie charts? All right. How about this? If we flip the page over and I can still hear myself, which is very annoying. We have another example. Okay, we have a bunch of stuff. We have comedy, action, and drama. Why don't you try these on your own or together in groups? Try doing the proportion, the angles, and also creating your pie chart. Pretty good here. Why don't we come back to the front here and go over some of this? So first of all, we have some stuff here, right? We have and drama to see which ones we like the best. So first of all, I got Maggie to write up the proportion of observations. Maggie, do you mind taking us through how you got the proportions?
So I added up 4 plus 5 plus 1. So that's it.
Mhm.
And then I divided 4 5 by 10 and 5 10.
Perfect. Perfect job. I guess not much to explain there, but very nice job there. Next, we had to do the angle in the pie chart. Emily, do you want to take us through how you got the angles real quick?
That is the proportion over.
Perfect, right? So just multiplying by 360. Emily did a really good job doing that. And then finally, making your pie chart. I actually went ahead and just made it myself. Now here we have comedy being 40%. I think some of you actually did something smart. Once we got the comedy line, making the action line was pretty easy because 50% of a circle is just like doing a straight line. So you might not even have to like
figure out where 180 was. So I saw a lot of you do that. But this is what your pie chart should approximately look like, okay? Now, here's the thing with pie charts in my class. I actually can't just give out protractors, and I know a lot of you like don't want to cut and pie protractors. I did want you to like do it once, but for my class, I'm not actually gonna like require you to like draw a pie chart just because then you'd have to like study with the protractors, and a lot of you like don't have them. So I'm never actually gonna ask you to draw them out, but I do want you to know how to like calculate the angle in the pie chart, know approximately like what a pie chart means, and how to get the proportions as well. So any questions on like making pie charts, things like that? Sounds good. All right. Now sometimes I'm not gonna like ask you to make a pie chart or calculate how to get one, but I want you to like make a conclusion if you're given a pie chart. So we're gonna talk about some questions I could ask here. Let's just say I have a middle school. We have 1,200 students enrolled in there. And what I have here is a pie chart of all like the activities that they're in. So like maybe, are you in sports? Do you have other hobbies? Are you in a club? Things like that, okay? Now, let's just talk about some things I could ask, okay? Based on this information, you can actually find out how many individual students are in sports or are in clubs or in hobbies. Does anyone want to explain how they would maybe get that answer, Maggie? Oh, 1,200 divided by point, or is it divide or multiply? Oh, yeah. No, you're good. No, because I was like, I knew you got the right number. So you just said the wrong thing, right? Yeah, perfect. But you basically multiply it by 0.38. Now, if you're wondering where the 0.38 comes from, basically what we want to do is we want to figure out what 38, because that's sports, right? 38% of the total 1,200 is, right? Now, it's kind of hard to do that if you like just look at like the percentage. So usually it's easier to turn the percent into a decimal, right? And to go from a percent to a decimal, you divide by 100, right? Kind of percent means divide by 100, okay? So when you divide 38 by 100, we get 0.38, okay? Usually in math, when you see the word of, it means multiply, right? Of is synonymous with multiply. And 1,200 is the total, okay? So that's why we did 0.38 times 1,200 to get, or, oh my gosh, 56, okay? So that's how we get how many students participate in sports. Okay. Now a very similar question. How about this? I'm going to give you 2 seconds to find how many students participate in clubs using the same method, and then we'll come back. All right. So what did I multiply together to get part B? Oh my gosh. Getting there. Give me a hint. There's M names. Maddie, Maggie. That's what I was thinking. I know there's a Maggie. It's not Maddie. It is Maddie. Yes. Okay. All right. Why don't you tell me how many? How'd you get part B?
So I did 1,200 times 0.25 for the 25% that are in club, and that equals 300.
Perfect. Are we all good with 300? Yeah, perfect. I'm gonna learn these names. I got it. See, I already know L because it's just in my head now that you said L, and I'll never forget that. I'll get there. Okay. Any questions on like pie chart stuff? All right. I just want to talk about one more thing before we talk about quizzes. Now there actually is one more type of graph that is used a lot when we deal with categorical or qualitative data. We call it a pictograph. And it's basically a bar graph, but instead of like bars, we have pictures that represent like how many times things happen. So for example, we have like ways that people go to Jasmine's school. Some people walk, some people take the bus, some people take a car. Instead of making a bar graph, sometimes we'll just do like, okay, maybe like one face is equal to one person. So there's 12 faces or 12 people that walk. And it looks nicer. It looks kind of cute. But there is a problem with pictographs because sometimes they don't depict the information in the best way. And let me just show you an example of one. Okay. Here we have junk food sales at a school. Okay. Last year, it looks like we had a lot of junk food. And then this year, it seems like we don't have as much junk food. Does anyone see the problem with this graph? Maddie, there we go.
The same amount of food, just they're different sizes, like they just minimize the picture.
You're really close. It's not the same amount of food, but it's close. It does minimize the picture. I do like that. Haley,
It's kind of like outlined like a bar graph almost, so like it doesn't.
yeah, it kind of looks like a bar graph. Okay, that's really close too. Anyone else want to take a guess at what I'm thinking of? Are you Anna? Okay, perfect.
It's not really showing. It's just showing.
Yeah, it is showing the price. That is something there. Let's actually look at the prices. Last year it's 6,000, right? This year it's 3,000, right? So it kind of like divided by two between last year and this year. It cut down by half, right? Does it look like half?
No.
No. What does it look like? If I outline like how much actually like what the difference is, I could fit four of last year, or I could fit four of this year into last year, right? I could stick four of these guys in this picture, right? But it only decreased by half. Okay. So the problem with this pictograph is they actually made the left bar a lot wider than the right bar. So it looks like a much more dramatic decrease from last year to this year than it actually is. Okay. It only divided by half, but it actually, in the picture, it looks like it divided by four. Okay. So pictographs are kind of tricky. They do look really cute, and I do like pictographs. I use them a lot. But sometimes they can be a little misleading, especially when you orient them like a bar graph and one of the bars is like wider than the others. It makes it look a little bit more deceptive than it actually is. Okay. Any questions on what we did here? Okay. Well, I guess it's about quiz review time.